So for those of you that are watching this recording, I will introduce myself first. Richard and I go way back now, so we know each other. But my name is Rebecca Cavanis. I'm the Executive Director of the Winterville Chamber of Commerce. I actually decided to do this workshop after I had numerous business owners come into me where they were new members. We were doing their entrance interview, and I kept hearing kind of the same sorts of questions pop up where I'm talking about what can I do for your business? How can I support you? And social media things were coming up more and more. So I found myself a couple of times sitting in my office and getting people to come around. Hey, look at my computer. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to help you the best I can, that type of thing. Well, I realized, there's got to be a better way to reach more people. And I thought that doing something like this would reach not only, our members, but people that aren't members and anybody who may have had these questions, but, didn't feel that they could ask me or weren't in a position to do so at the time. So I figure I've got a little bit of knowledge. It's my job to share it. I've got the platform to do so. So that was my hope for today. What I really want to do is kind of hit some highlights here, and I'm going to show you. You can see my screen. I'm here on the Winterville Chamber of Commerce Facebook page. First of all, I actually want to talk a little bit about the importance of kind of having this basic page set up, both in terms of this not being a replacement for a website. I know that some people, have their Facebook page and that's linked on their Google My Business as their website. This isn't a replacement for a website. Both things should exist so that when people look you up, it's coming up in the search engine results. You have your website and then you have your Facebook page. If you're utilizing your personal page for business reasons, it's not going to hit as big of an audience either. So I'm guilty too of sharing business related things on my personal page, but that's not solely what it's dedicated for. When you have a business page specifically, people can search things and it'll come up in Google, Bing, whatever search engine they're using. Those results will actually show up because it's accessible. Most of us have private Facebook pages, and so those things that you're posting won't come up unless they're on a business page. So it's adding legitimacy to your business. It's something like joining a chamber that looks good. It adds to your trustworthiness. People feel that they can trust you. They can see the reviews that you might have. That's a feature that won't be accessible otherwise. And there's other tools up there. It doesn't mean that you can't have personal things on a Facebook page, on a business page. In fact, I highly encourage you to make it a little bit personal. I feel as though a lot of us shop with the businesses we shop with for personal reasons. You have an experience there that makes you want to continue to come back, or you feel that you formed a relationship with somebody there, and that's why you like to come back. Those are all personal reasons, right? You connect with them, share that on your business page. That's important. You don't want to feel robotic. It's okay to share some personal things up there. Maybe not selfies, but you can share a little bit of personal information. It doesn't have to be all we. If you are your business, it can be I. I hope that makes sense. I think that that's the type of thing that people do want to see. So don't be fearful of that. But again, I think having that business page is important. And again, not having it as a replacement for a website. So I actually want to jump over here really quick and show you something. This is from the Pew Research Center. I want to hit on who is using different social medias. So here is in particular the data I want to look at. The reason I want to reference this is there are a lot of social media platforms. I'm going to be talking primarily about Facebook and a little bit about Instagram, and this is why. Primarily, this is what people are using. Okay, this is not something that I have come up with. This is research that has been gathered. This goes all the way back to 2012, and the most recent data. This was posted in April of 2021. So the most recent data is from 2021, but so we've got a little blip of TikTok on the sheet, but not too much information on them yet. But overall, you can see clearly that Facebook has been the leading user. If people use social media, that is what they're on. The surprising one for me was that YouTube was up here a little higher. So I thought that was interesting to see, and it's even spiked a little higher recently. Maybe from the pandemic and so many DIY videos. just a theory on my part, but definitely a lot of Facebook users, and then Instagram coming in second. So those are going to be the focuses, and it's for these reasons. So you can still see Pinterest is up here. I tend to not think about one as social media, but it is. LinkedIn, I tend to use that as a professional Rolodex myself, but we got WhatsApp, Snapchat. There's even Nextdoor on this list, popping up there at the bottom. And you could actually create a business page on Nextdoor as well. But this is a lot of stuff to have to be on. So in my opinion, I think it's a lot more user-friendly to focus on one, maybe two of these. Since Facebook actually purchased Instagram, those two being more compatible now, it is a little bit more user-friendly to use them both. And I'll go in and I'll show you what I mean by that a little bit later. But scrolling down here, I wanted to look at, I find this stuff very interesting, the demographics of who is using each of these platforms. In particular, I want to highlight these ages, because I think that's something that I hear very frequently is, I'm not going to be on Instagram because my demographic isn't on Instagram. That's not where my customers are. Well, that may or may not be true. So the ages in particular, this is Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn they're comparing on this chart. So you see here, of course, the younger generation. I expected to see a bigger dip and not see as many on Facebook as we see here, but it's pretty on par with Instagram. The 30 to 49 crowd still at 48% on Instagram. That's a high number. 50 to 64, I thought we would see a bigger drop on the Instagram usage, but at 29%. And then of course you do see a bigger drop off at the 65 and up, but still 50% of 65 and up individuals in the US are on Facebook. So you can definitely hit your customer base by using social media, no matter where you're at. So this is the kind of thing that you kind of have to keep in mind. Who is your stereotypical customer? Who is your preferred customer? And those may be two separate things for you. Maybe you want to see some growth. Maybe you want to see that person change. Maybe their spending limit is different. But I think it helps to kind of paint a picture in your head of who that person is, where they shop, what their education level is, what their, maybe they're a single mom. Maybe something about your business is in particular to a single mom who's got children, and you want to cater to helping her. Your business fills a specific need. What is that need and who is that for? All right. So that's something to kind of jot down, and you can, I think it's important to have, a broad idea of what that is, but also something more narrowed down for different types of reasons. But when you're doing ads, it can be very beneficial to have that information in mind. So again, this is on pewresearch.org. This is really interesting. There's a lot more up here. I probably could spend a lot of time on it, but in particular, those age ranges, I think is really important to highlight. Then what I will do, I will pop back over. So this is the typical look of a Facebook business page. You even have memories for your business page. I think it's very cute that they'll give you that little show here. But these are some of the most basic tools that they show you. They'll kind of help you, create posts. Boosting is a form of advertisements so that you can create an ad specifically for a post and not just for the overall page, right? And then there's other business tools up here, posting a job, the appointment bookings. So if you are, a retail location and you're by appointment only, or maybe you don't have a location at all and you're all appointments, this can be a very beneficial tool to use. I'd encourage people to not be scared to click on these things. Just because you click them to explore what it is doesn't mean, it's set in stone. You can never take it back. Find out what it means for you and if you can utilize it. So these are free tools that you can use, and the chat function as well that can be added to the website. But I want to talk about, aside from, I'll mention this, aside from keeping all of your about stuff up to date, that's very valuable when you're first time on a business page. This is typically what I look at. Before I'm even looking at the posts, I want to see, where their website is, the phone number, the contact stuff they've got, if they have hours and the location. And then you can link your other social media pages. So I have here our Instagram linked. And then this is something I find interesting. So when you have this kind of behind the scenes look on a business page, you can see the reach and the engagement. Again, we have this kind of boost option, but you can click in this area here and it will pop up for you performance. Okay. So I want to break this down for you a little bit. The people reached, I think is semi-self-explanatory. That's actually the number of people, individuals that you're reaching, their timelines. This is popping up on. So this post, we have 947 people this has reached, 30 likes, comments, and shares, and the post clicks. So they break this down. So the post clicks can mean the photo views, where they actually clicked on a photo and they wanted to see a little more of what was in a picture. But the other clicks, in this particular instance, it's almost definitely the see more function. So the 46 other people wanted to know what else was up here, and they actually wanted to read this. If you were to pay to boost this, we would have different numbers here. So in this 0 paid reach, I didn't boost this post, but maybe if I had, I would be able to see, the difference versus organic. So these are people that this just reached naturally using Facebook's algorithm. Maybe I shared it in a group, so on, but this would be the paid difference. The reason there's a difference in number two between the reach and the impressions is because it may have shown up in somebody's timeline more than once. So this reach is actually the number of people, while the impressions would be the number of times it was viewed. So that's why there's a different number there. I think it can be useful too in circumstances to look at the distribution summary and kind of compare maybe certain times of day when you post, you see more views. You can kind of compare these types of things because this is within the last 8 days of publishing. They do that. So it was less on the impressions, but more on the post clicks for this particular one. So sometimes that can be useful to look at, but don't let yourself get overwhelmed, concerned with all of those particular things, of course. Just show a different one for comparison's sake. So this one also saw a lot more, but this one, the reactions in particular, and that's evident when you actually look at the posts. We had 43 people react in some way. This is, kind of a feel-good something. People like to get involved with this type of thing. So this was our scholarship winner. Let's see. The next thing I want to show you, there's a little preview on the side here, this Meta Business Suite. I actually already have the tab open over here, so I can show you. So this is what this homepage looks like. You can type this in by going to business.facebook.com. I actually really prefer to use the business suite, not just because of the plethora of tools available, but for limited distractions. So one of the things that I've heard a lot of people say is you pull up your phone and you go to do something business related on your Facebook, and suddenly you've gone down, a black hole of you're watching reels, you're looking at other things that are completely unrelated, and you're not getting work done. If you have the business suite app downloaded on your phone, you can pull just that up and you're only going to see business page related things. You are not going to see anything personal. So it really helps you kind of put those horse blinders on, pay attention to what's important. So if you're at work and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be on the Facebook page on my work computer. Well, the business suite, that is definitely, you can't be mistaken for doing anything personal on business suite. So this is kind of an overview page here. You can actually go to all of your notifications from this point. You can go to your inbox as well. And before I click that, I'm just going to point out what I have done is linked our Instagram and our Facebook page. If I hadn't, on this page, it would be asking me, do you want to do this? So that's very, very useful. And I'll show you a number of reasons why later, but that has saved me a number of times, a lot of stress and headache by having those things linked. If you click on the inbox here, what will happen when it eventually loads is, oh, we have a message. So this is, we just had an event over the weekend, and Miss Jesus is thanking us for letting her perform. So you can see all of the messages here. Using the icons, you can tell where it's from. This is under the all icon. So you can tab over and we can do just Facebook comments. We can do just Facebook Messenger. We can do Instagram inbox, but I like having it all in one. Typically, I just like having this accessible for me, seeing everything that's going on, but it can also be very useful to go in here. You can actually create notes. So if somebody has reached out to me and maybe it's a potential lead, I can create labels. They already have some suggested labels that they add in here. I can check one of these boxes and add a label, and it will mark them accordingly to me so that just at a glance, I can see what's going on. You can add in a note. You can say, this is my favorite customer ever, and help you remember, something about them. This can be very useful. You can utilize it however you want. Most of the time, I kind of ignore this, but in particular, I like to see if they've liked my page or not, if they're sending me a message. So that's one of the reasons why I like having Instagram and Facebook linked. I'm going to click over here on posts and stories. So this is going to show you at a very quick glance. This is like looking at your timeline in a very condensed view. So these are all the posts going down. You can see the date that they were published, of course, but we can look at all of this information here on the reach, the engagements, the reactions. This can be really valuable information. Remember, I told you earlier, people really like the feel-good stuff. They like seeing the scholarship recipient. This is not just my opinion. This is fact. With all across the way, this is performing better than all of our recent posts. So this is something that you can customize if you'd like. But I like to keep it kind of simple. If you want to look at a different time frame, you can. But this is just nice to look back on and say, okay, these are the things that people really like when I post. I'm going to keep this in mind. I'm going to try and create more posts like this. Or again, if you want to compare times, if you consistently post every month, and each time you post at a different time, you may get some data there that shows you better what time of day is better for you to post. There's another kind of view of a similar thing, this planner here. This is more of a past and present type of view. So you'll see here, there's a lot of these kind of active things. These are actually our stories. So the chamber shares on our Facebook and Instagram stories what our members are posting. So this is a way for people to just easily click through. In particular on Instagram, people really utilize this more so than on Facebook. But so you can see everything in the past that I've done, and I can come in here and I can look at some things for the future. I'm going to show you, there's this create button here. This is on multiple other pages. So I'm just going to go back to show you. It is on this page as well. It's the same thing, create a story or a post. But this is by far my favorite tool, okay? This is something that I utilize all the time. It saves me so much time, especially I'm a night owl. I'm one at 11 o'clock at night. I decide I'm gonna vacuum. I'm gonna, do all my things for the day. I am that person for whatever reason. But my target demographic isn't necessarily up at 1 o'clock in the morning and wants to see my posts, right? But if I can come in here, I can click create a post. I'll show you. It's my favorite thing in the world. So what I can do is I can schedule a post. I can schedule this across Facebook and Instagram, or if for some reason I only want it on one platform, I can select that. But I can post across both platforms here, and I can, put in some posts. Welcome to our new member. We do a lot of welcome posts, and I can upload an image. So I'm purposely uploading an image here that I know Instagram isn't gonna like. Instagram likes square images, right? All you have to do is come in here, click here, make it square, okay? If you're very particular about your margins, you can do this in advance on your own desktop, but for time-saving reasons, this is really, really nice. And now it's a perfect square. They're happy with it. I can use it across both platforms. And what I can do is, for one, I can save it as a draft if there was something more I wanted to work on. I didn't quite get it right, didn't like my wording. But I can come in here and I can schedule independently from each other a Facebook time for it to post and an Instagram time for it to post. Truly my favorite tool. It used to be that this was only for Facebook, but then when Facebook purchased Instagram, they merged it. Very grateful for that feature. To my knowledge, I know at one point this was absolutely fact. To my knowledge, this is still fact, though, that this is the only free scheduling tool for Instagram, is to be using Business Suite. So there are other, paid apps and things that you can download exclusively for Instagram scheduling purposes. But this being free, I very much like this. And I would like to remind you that if for some reason you only want to do it on Instagram, you can just deselect that Facebook, and you can use it for that. So for some reason my preview is not working for Instagram. But so a lot of times what I'll do, well and truly on a Sunday night at midnight, I come in here and I start making posts for the week. And I just schedule them out. You can choose particular times that you really like. Say I want to do at noon tomorrow for Facebook, but then Instagram, I'm like, I'm not so sure. You can actually click this button here. It'll pop up a bigger window and it'll make suggestions for you. So for whatever reason, on the chamber social medias, it really likes 7 o'clock. This is from data that Facebook and or Instagram has gathered about our page, or about the users who are following our pages. Maybe for some reason I don't like that 7 o'clock for Facebook, but I like it for Instagram, and I can just simply utilize that. So then you just hit save and you hit schedule. I will show you too. I'll make this a little later. Once I hit schedule, it does sometimes take a little bit to pop up. And I've had a few times where it doesn't immediately appear on this page immediately after I do it, and I do have to refresh. So don't panic if you don't see that immediately. But I can come in here and I can look at it and I can hit publish now. So if I want to change that, if I am on this page, I'll show you what this looks like from the posts and stories. Oops. It's the same type of thing to create a post, just pops you up to the same page. Okay. So there's a lot of tools here for you to utilize, but like I said, that really is my favorite. That scheduler saves me an awful lot of time. So I really encourage you to use that. It unfortunately does not hit the number of people that you want if you post at times that your users, your followers are not online. So maybe you want to hit them on your lunch break. You need to post on your lunch break. Those stale posts are not as likely to be viewed. So this is the best way to execute that. I think I kind of hit everything on the scheduling. I'm going to make sure here. But you can also use this Insights tab. It'll show me a week in review. And then I can look at all of this overview data. This can be a lot to take in, but it really breaks down a lot of information for me. This may or may not be useful for you, but it is good to know where it is for future use. The other tab I do want to talk about a little bit before we finish up here is the ads tab. And I believe I went ahead and yes. So when you click the ads page, this is what will come up for you. So I already kind of have mine set up a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about how to do this, but when you come into this page, it'll give you a lot of options. I'll go back on this tab and show you. On the types of ads, like what your goals are. So you can create a whole plan. You can create it automated, you can choose your own goal, or you can boost existing content. And that is like the posts on your page. So when the chamber does our chamber champion posts, we always go in, we create a Facebook post, and then we boost that because we're trying to boost all of this information here. We're not advertising the chamber, we're advertising a member that we have posted about. So that's why we'll go in and do that. But for certain targeted ads, you want to, I like this button right here a lot, promote your business locally. So that is what I have clicked, and that's what I'm on here. Remember I mentioned a little bit earlier, I posed 2 questions to you. I said, who is your stereotypical customer and who is your preferred customer? Those questions are what really come in handy here. So for the chamber, we're really in particular utilized by businesses, organizations as well, but businesses is who we're really working for. So I can come in here. I've already selected some, but I'll show you what I did. This is where all of that data that is being gathered all over the place every time you're on the internet. This is really where this is coming into use, not just for Facebook, but for all types of online ads. So we have demographics and interests and behaviors. You can just start typing things in. What I've done is I've gone to self-employment. We want business owners, people who are self-employed. They're the ones that are seeing this post. We've created something targeted to them. This demographics line I really liked in particular. That was under work and industries. So we have this business decision maker titles and interests. So these are the CEOs, presidents, these are managers, these are people who are making these decisions. For us, that is who is going to join. They're the ones who have that authority to make that decision, right? The decision maker. So maybe in particular, your demographic, maybe you're selling items to foods and restaurants. Two restaurants. So you want people who, their work is in this industry, is in the food and restaurant industry. You can go through and you can click things. Again, I have clicked management because that's another title that we are marketing towards. So I try not to narrow this down too far. We still want to hit, a little bit of a broad reach. We just want to make sure it's within the realm of the customer base that we want. Realistically, the customers that are actually going to become customers, not just going to kind of view our ads here. You can select gender and age. There's no reason for us to do this, so we're not going to. And what I've done here, I've gone ahead and created the post. This is the description I've got going on. A little bit of information, kind of an overview, something that I want people to read and like what they hear about the chamber. So you can make this as short or as long as you want. The truth of the matter is the media is what's going to make the biggest difference. Videos and pictures go a long way. So I've actually come in here. You can click select media. You can go by account. You can upload things if you'd like, and you can select images. So some of these are blurry because these are stories, but I can select whatever images I'd like, and there will be various media. So I wanted to kind of have an overview here. We have our board of directors, we have a ribbon cutting, we have our scholarship recipient. These are recent photos. These do, I think, a good job of kind of summarizing a little bit of what the chamber does just in pictures. These are interesting. Each one is different. That's why I've done that. And then you can do a button. I have chosen learn more, but you can do get directions. You can have a call to action here. that is catered specifically to you. I highly encourage you to experiment with this. Facebook will make suggestions for you, but you can come in here and you can do a teeny tiny little budget and you can see what you like and what works. When you scroll down, we do have the schedule and duration. I've come in here and I've said, I just want to do it for a week. You can, really go all out and you can say, I'm just going to run it continuously at this daily budget. Of course, this is what they recommend. They like that open-ended stuff. I much prefer an end date, and then it'll alert me when it's done. I can go in, I can review it, and I can say, this is what worked, this is what didn't. As a personal preference. So keep in mind here that I have selected this demographic. So my reach is based off of that. It's based off of who I have selected. So I've come in here and I've said, I really want to keep it under 20 bucks for this whole week. I don't want to spend more than $20. This is my goal. All right. So for just a small little budget amount, this is what they're estimating. They think that they can help me reach between 1.7 and 4.9 thousand people per day. It might hit that, it might not. I've had times where this number has been completely blown out of the water. It has been all over the place, but it's very interesting to see what they predict versus what actually happens. I very rarely have been very disappointed with these numbers, only if there's some sort of strange error. So you do have to be careful when creating an ad. I don't know if they still have oh yes, the special ad category. If they think it's an ad about credit, employment, housing, or social issues like elections or politics, they may block your ad in certain regions. So be careful about your wording and make sure there isn't anything that'll get flagged. If it does get flagged, you have the opportunity to say, no, this was not this type of ad, and they'll review it, an actual person, and instead of just the algorithm will review it. I've had that happen one time when we were doing a Chamber Champion post, and it was about a business that focused on housing, which is why they got confused on it. But I was like, no, this is an ad for the housing. They put my ad back up, no problem. And it wasn't anything crazy. The page didn't get put in Facebook jail or anything. It was just they paused the ad and they said, hey, wait a minute, you're not supposed to do this. If you do the special ad category, there are just different qualifications for it. That's all. You're not allowed to do it. But yeah, so then I can go in and I can hit promote now. I'm going to submit my ad. I already have all of this stuff set up. For you, if you've never done an ad before, you'll have to go in, you'll have to have a credit card on file, that type of thing. As you can see, we already have that. So now the ad gets reviewed. It never takes very long to get reviewed. They are reviewing it for those flags on the housing and credit things, but it is automated. So I'm never real upset about how long that takes. It's pretty quick. I think the only other thing I briefly wanted to mention is actually just a small little tidbit. I know a lot of us are on Facebook groups. We're members of groups. This can be another way for you to sort of advertise for free for your business. There are groups, I know in our area, we have like the restaurant, Greenville area restaurant Facebook group is really prominent, really blew up during COVID. Our chamber, we call it a slice of Winterville. It's a recommendations page. It's a place for our businesses to post, or any businesses can post, but also for you to go up and say, oh, I just, visited this business. I really enjoyed them, tag them, whatever. But you can join a group as a page. And if you make a post on your page and you want it to reach outside of your followers on your page, a group is a great way to do that. So Facebook's algorithm prefers groups over pages. All right. So I know that's a little crazy to think about, but posts in a group will get viewed by a larger portion of the people that follow that page or group. Okay, so in the group's instance, you have 100 people in a group. you create a post in there, you share a post in there, it's very likely to reach 80 of those people. Okay. On a Facebook page, you have 100 followers, 100 likes. You make a post, you may only reach 20 of those people that follow you, right? So you're gonna get outside of that little box. You're gonna reach more people, but you're also gonna gain more page likes, because now it's not just the people that are following you that are seeing it, it's a whole other group over here. That can be a great way for you to share with different people, get out there. That does take time. So I guess it's not really free. Time is expensive. It's a hot commodity, but it's very useful to utilize those groups that your area may have. So I hope that wasn't too much information to throw at you today. Richard, I don't know if you have any questions about anything I've gone over.
But no, I don't have questions. The one thing I didn't understand about what you presented was how to engage in it to get, the one thing I never liked about yellow page advertising was the inability to target the demographic specific groups, specific elements of the market, of the served market that we have. This is a hell of a lot more precise in a market. If you're going to market to something, market to the ones that you really want to get to.
Right.
So that helped me tremendously as I'm planning future ads, because I've advertised on Facebook, I've run ad campaigns, but with that, not with the success that I was hoping for.
Right.
This is going to help me refine that process to get me greater results. So that's fantastic.
That's the goal. I really hope it does. And if you start getting into it and you're like, wait a minute, I'm a little lost, you know where to get me.
Yeah.
Give me a call, send me an email. I'm happy to help.
Okay, excellent. That was insightful. That was great.
Really,
So I
very much
appreciate that.
that. I guess I'll stop this recording now. Thank you everybody who is watching this back. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good night.
All right, Rebecca, thank you very much. You take care.